So things were coming out of our pockets. We had just bought a house. Things went crazy. We ended up losing the house. And it's like, okay, my parents and everybody thought I'd lost my mind.
Hmm.
D, okay, look, God wouldn't have your bills behind. I said, you know what? I don't know what he would have right now, but the only thing I know, he said that it shall be a
Exactly.
blessed cookie company.
Absolutely.
So I'm crying one day before God, said, Lord, you know what? You said it was going to be blessed, and my family thinks I've lost my mind because I'm believing something you said that's not that seemingly
Hmm.
is not happening.
Hmm.
And I said, how are we going to build a business? Our credit's going down the drain. How are we going to buy equipment? All of these things I'm whining to the Lord. And he stopped me and asked me a question.
Welcome back to the Let's Evolve for Tomorrow podcast. I'm your host, Tyrone, and we help aspiring, new, and existing entrepreneurs excel to the next level by inviting other aspiring, new, and existing entrepreneurs to the podcast. So with us today, we have a very special guest right here local, here in Columbus, Ohio. She goes by Dee with a blessed cookie, and I think you've been in business for over 20 years now?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. 30 years located in the Nationwide building downtown. So it's such an honor to have her here. Someone that has so much experience, that can give so much knowledge and education and information on how to start a business, how to grow a business. But I'm going to stop talking right now. I do want to say one thing. She shared with me that she has an exciting opportunity coming up here in Florida, I believe. I'm not sure if I was supposed to share that or not, but we'll see. And if so, I'll just edit that part out. Miss D,
Okay.
it's a pleasure for having you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you accepting the invite.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you, thank
Awesome.
you. So if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Well, as they say, I'm Dee, aka the Cookie Lady, and just a love for baking ever since a little girl. It started with my Easy Bake Oven.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, that's where it started.
That's a
My
great
mom bought me one when I was a kid. I wanted one really bad, and I burned out so many light bulbs with that thing. Mom, I need a new light bulb, and so proud, just excited about coming up with different items and things, and so that turned out to be a hobby for me, baking. And then as I grew older and took home ec and would make cookies for my father for his lunch. You had to pack dad's lunch back
Right,
then.
right.
Make cookies and desserts and things for him. And it just became a relaxing thing for me, is to make a batch of cookies or
Okay.
bake something.
Okay, so what kind of cookies did you bake for your dad?
He liked everything. His favorite was peanut butter.
Okay,
But peanut butter, and he wasn't crazy about chocolate chip.
okay. What's your top selling cookie right now?
Of America's favorite, chocolate chip.
Okay.
That's the biggest one.
So let's talk about a few highlights right now. Like, where do you stand right now in your business in terms of any success? Like, I know you talked about Florida, so you're thinking about expanding, right?
Right. We're looking at expanding. COVID threw a ratchet in everyone's business, especially small businesses.
Uh-huh.
And with us being located inside of the Nationwide Insurance Building, which is a large building, 7,000 people in there on a daily basis prior
Mhm.
to COVID. But then after COVID, we're down to less than 1,000 people a day. So our market dropped significantly.
Mhm.
So I had to come up with other avenues to try and generate revenue.
Okay.
So I ended up buying a truck. I said, all right, they can't get to me, I'll get to them. We're going to do cookies on wheels. That's what it's called. Had a
Okay.
van wrapped, got it wrapped, and said, okay, we'll deliver cookies. Up my website, got that developed up to par. And so we began to promote our website more and ordering online business more than our walk-in retail business.
Okay. So where did the expansion part come into play?
Well, with the reduction
Uh-huh.
here, I said, you know what? There's got to be, maybe this river is drying up. I'm thinking, your mind as an entrepreneur, you're like, okay, what do I do?
Uh-huh.
And my son lives in Tampa.
Okay.
My two grandchildren, and I love going down there to visit.
Ah.
And I went down and I was checking out some areas and didn't see many cookie things going on down there. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and test the waters down here.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth from Columbus to Tampa and working that out.
Okay. So did you go there looking for opportunity, or were you there just to visit your son and your grandchildren, and then?
I was there to visit, and then you know how you get that little nudge as a Christian, Lord, okay, what do I do? Do I, where's the brook? Is this brook dried up in Columbus? Do I look for another brook? And you know what? I got his approval to go down to Tampa and check it out. So that's why I'm down there now.
Nice. So how's that working out so far?
You know what? Working on building the market.
Okay.
And things are going well. I know my first sales call I went out on, it was so fun. It was interesting to me because I said, I don't know anyone down here, and so I made a BMW logo cookie. That's my specialty, is corporate logo cookies. Went to a car dealership and said, you know what? Here, I have this. You ever thought about giving cookies maybe out for certain events or, when you have sales? He said, maybe so. And he said, today's your day. I said, why is that? The general manager did. He said, the owner's here. I'll introduce you to them.
Wow.
So that's favor.
Absolutely.
That's favor.
Big favor, for sure.
So that, just going around to different places, different restaurants, things like that, just introducing them to my product.
Okay.
And I'm confident once they taste them, it's over with.
So do you have like a brick and mortar there, or a pop-up shop, or?
Right now, I'm doing it out of my home.
Okay.
And in Florida, they have, for cottage businesses, you can work out of your home up to $250,000.
Oh, nice. Okay. So in terms of inspiration, right?
Yes.
You talked about, that easy bake oven. And, it's funny because we actually bought our daughter one when she was 4. And, she used it for quite some time. She still loves baking to this day.
Okay.
But in terms of inspiration, you were baking with your easy bake oven, baking cookies for your dad. So how did it lead into business? Like, what was that first entrepreneurial thought you had to turn it into a business?
You know what? I worked for Ross Laboratories.
Okay.
And I would bring in, cookies for potlucks and things. And people would say, Dee, you should sell these cookies. I said, it's a hobby. No one's going to buy these. I do it for fun.
Right.
Put the kids to bed, pull out the mixer, I'm ready. I'm chilling out for the day. So anyway, I said, well, I don't know. I've never thought of going into business with cookies. So one Christmas, made up a price list. I gave it out. I ended up getting orders for over 3,000 cookies out of my kitchen.
Wow.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I had mama, daddy, everybody over there. Help me. People are buying these cookies. What am I going to do?
Right.
So anyway, and that's where it started. And I said, wow, Lord, and I'm a Christian. I said, Lord, you know what? There's a market for these cookies. I don't know how to do this. I mean, I never thought about going in business.
Right.
Plus, also, I'm a minister. The Lord had called me to the ministry, so I was pursuing ministry. I wasn't thinking about a cookie business.
Right.
First thing I was thinking, all right, devil, I rebuke you. You're trying to get me out of ministry. Not realizing I could do both. That cookies and ministry could work together.
Absolutely.
So anyway, after that, the 3,000, I said, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? After 30 some years of life, I finally asked the Lord, what is your purpose for my life? And he gave me an answer. And I said, do I go in the cookie business? What do I do, Lord? He told me that it shall be a blessed cookie company.
Wow.
And that's where I got the name. I was so excited. I said, yeah, it's going to be a blessed cookie company. Wait a minute. ABC, and I'm D. That works.
That
I
was
said,
perfect.
okay.
I actually saw that. I heard, one of your interviews, and I was like, man, that lined up perfectly.
It did.
Yeah. So it was inevitable that your business was going to be blessed for sure.
And it was so awesome. It was nerve-wracking. And any entrepreneur, when you're getting ready to step out into something that you're unsure of, it's scary. And I mean, I can sit up here and say I had all the faith in the world, but I was still scared.
Absolutely.
I was nervous.
Right.
But I had God's word. I had his word. And I just said, okay, I got to hold on to this. The Bible says, before one, in any part of his word fails, heaven and earth will pass away. And there were days when I was nervous in my waiting, that I would look outside, get up in the morning, pull the curtains back. I said, well, heaven and earth is still here. He's still doing what he said.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as milestones and turning points. So you launched the cookies. You had a lot of people in the office like, we love your cookies. You should sell these. You start selling them. You made $3,000. Your family got involved.
I mean,
Everybody's coming
3,000
over.
cookies, not dollars.
Oh, I'm
but-
sorry, 3,000 cookies. So 3,000 cookies.
Yeah.
So what was the next step after that?
The next step was taking that step of faith. Okay, do you put the price list out?
Mm-hmm.
People buying the cookies now. Are you going to step out and do it? Are you just going to do like Peter, close your eyes and step out on the water and say, okay, I'm coming. Here I go.
Absolutely.
So I did that.
Okay.
It was something because I don't have a degree in business.
Mm-hmm.
I went to SCORE looking for help, looking for all the avenues I could find to help me. How do I start a business?
Absolutely.
So I searched all of that out, and then I finally, and I don't know if I've ever shared this, but several weeks after the Lord had told me it was going to be blessed, I was driving home from work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in that turmoil, how are you going to do this? You don't have this. You don't you don't have the revenue. How did that? And the Lord asked me a question. He said, "Why are you holding on to $10 an hour when I'm trying to bless you with thousands?"
Ooh.
I said, "I don't know. I'm scared."
Mm-hmm.
After that, I said, "Okay." I gave Ross my notice and I said, all right, I'm going to take this step of faith.
Mm-hmm.
The day before I left Ross, the vice president called me in and said, Dee, I hear you're leaving. What are you doing? I said, well, looks like there's a market for my cookies. I'm going to go start a cookie business.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay. He said, you know what? I want to help you out. I said, what's that? He gave me the food services manager's phone number and said, here, call. I'm going to give you a year's contract to supply 4 Ross Lab cafeterias with cookies when I walked out the door.
Wow.
It was crazy. I cried. I said, okay, Lord, I see you doing it.
A blessed cookie.
A blessed cookie.
Absolutely.
You're doing it.
Right.
And we did that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we ran into some problems with pricing, and they said they wanted a cheaper price, and I couldn't make money doing that, so we had to we lost the contract with Ross after a year.
Okay.
But after that, I'm like, okay, Lord, what do we do? What do we do? I started selling cookies. I mean, we went through some serious financial stress.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell an entrepreneur, because you know, being a new business person, initially everything's coming out of your pocket.
Absolutely.
You're paying for. You don't really start making money or making a profit until after maybe 2 to 3 years of being in business. Then you start to see a profit margin.
Right.
So things were coming out of our pockets. We had just bought a house. Things went crazy. We ended up losing the house. And it's like, okay, my parents and everybody thought I'd lost my mind.
Mm-hmm.
D, okay, look, God wouldn't have your bills behind. I said, you know what? I don't know what he would have right now, but the only thing I know, he said that it shall be a blessed cookie company.
Absolutely.
So I'm crying one day before God, said, Lord, you know what? You said it was going to be blessed, and my family thinks I've lost my mind because I'm believing something you said that's not that seemingly is not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how are we going to build a business? Our credit's going down the drain. How are we going to buy equipment? All of these things I'm whining to the Lord. And he stopped me and asked me a question. D, how long has it been since you quit your job? Mm-hmm. And my first thought is, well, Lord, you know. But I added it up and I said, well, it's been 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And he told me, he said, don't allow the enemy to cause a spiritual abortion of your blessing. And I'm looking like, what? A spiritual abortion?
Wow.
Lord, what is that?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, he said, at the time I called that company blessed, he said, that's when your blessing was conceived. Mm-hmm. But your faith is the umbilical cord that holds it in place. And as you know, an abortion is elective. You choose to give it up.
Absolutely.
After that, I said, I'm holding on to delivery.
Right. I love it.
I am holding on to delivery. I am not going to give up on this vision.
Uh-huh.
We were making cookies at my son's selling cookies at my son's baseball games, just trying to make $1 here or there, trying to keep our head above water. And she said, a lady there said, Dee, have you checked out a place downtown in the convention center? I said, girl, we can't afford the rent. The rent that anytime you're going somewhere high traffic. I said, we can't afford the rent. And I didn't try it. I didn't even pursue it because I said it was too big before I tried. asking, Lord, is this too big for you, with the earth being yours and the fullness thereof? But I just decided what I could do.
Absolutely.
Didn't pursue. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? I went to a women's retreat. There's a woman there named Rev Evelyn Spencer Carter. And I went to her room because I wanted to talk to somebody seasoned in faith. Because this was totally a faith walk.
Absolutely.
And I said, Rev Ev, this is what's going on. This is what the Lord told me. She said, Dee, do you believe God told you that? I said, Rev Ev, I know what he said. She said, then you stand on his word. I said, yes, ma'am, I will. She said, I'm going to pray for you. She prayed for me, and I got ready to walk out, and she said, Dee, do you have your equipment yet? I said, no, ma'am, I don't. She said, the Lord told me to tell you, when you feel his anointing, go get it, and he's going to pay for it. And, of course, that was far above my head. I couldn't. That was more than what I could handle, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, hallelujah, okay. Whatever. That's that's just being real. That's what I was thinking.
Faith and not by sight.
And I said, okay. I couldn't see how he was going to do it. But anyway, one day I got up enough faith to go to the call the convention center. And I said, all right, the only thing they can tell me is no. I called. I said, hi, I'm calling to inquire about space. They said, just a minute. Transferred me to the CEO of the convention center. And his name is Bill Lillyman. And I said, Mr. Lillyman, I have a small business. My credit's not the greatest, but someone told me you had space. He said, do you make peanut butter cookies? I'm thinking, what does that have to do with space? I'm new to this. What is that? I said, yeah.
Back to the peanut butter cookies again.
Yeah.
Your dad's favorite, right?
Exactly. He said, well, bring me a dozen. We'll talk. I brought him 2 dozen peanut butter cookies.
Right.
Went down. He took me to a space in the convention center that was in the food court. It had been vacant for 4 years, and they couldn't get anyone to lease it out. Wow. It was a cookie store previously. Walked in, ovens, mixers, refrigerator, everything was still in the spot.
Yes.
And that's where I opened my first retail store, was there in the Greater Columbus Convention Center.
Wow. So what was that turning point you experienced? So I know you talked about all of the hardships, right? So when did you hit that sweet spot where it's like things are coming together financially, credit's back to where it need to be, everything?
You know what? As I stayed in the fight.
Okay.
As I stayed in the game. And not giving up.
Okay.
Not giving up the game. After the convention center, I knew God was in it, because then our sales picked up. We got a lot of traffic from conventions coming in town, meeting companies and people from all over the world. It opened a great door for us. Nationwide was across the street, and we would get lunch traffic from there. And
wow.
So that's when things started to change, and I watched it start to grow.
Okay. So what's a key challenge that you can think of? So you obviously shared a lot of challenges with us, but that one challenge that just sticks out in your mind, and how did you overcome it? And the reason I'm asking is because you have other aspiring entrepreneurs out there, that young Dee out there who's in your position right now. We had a young lady on a couple of weeks ago, right? Okay. Who is trying to do something similar, but she's baking like cupcakes, cakes, cooking soul food, things of that nature. Okay. And she's trying to figure out if she wants to go the profit route or non-profit route. So what would you tell the young Dees out there who was once in that position?
Don't give up on your dream. That there's enough out there for you, for everybody. You don't have to worry about Sally Sue.
Absolutely.
Or Billy Bob.
Right.
There is enough out there if you promote setting goals, number one, and then going after them one by one. Don't let circumstances and things push you in another direction. Like, for instance, like you said, nonprofit to profit or that type thing.
Okay.
But setting a goal, having a plan, because the winds of change will come. Winds will come and try and blow you this way, that way. My biggest challenge was listening to people and their opinions. Well, this market is doing good, and this market is doing good. This is growing, and this. I said, but that's not where I'm going. That's not my focus. Well, you make a mean pound cake, and you do this, and then you can make sweet potato pies and do. but that's not my vision.
Ah, okay.
And that's why I believe it's important for you to write the vision,
Mm-hmm.
make it plain,
Absolutely.
so that they that read it, but more importantly, you that read it, will know which direction you're going. When people come and say, "Go this way," why don't you try this? Why don't you? And then you find yourself spreading yourself thin, and you're not going anywhere. You're just kind of wading in the water and not
Exactly.
moving up.
That's where that song came from, huh?
Wading
Wading
in the
in the
water.
water.
Okay, you know. Okay.
So what did you do? So in that moment, I noticed a lot of entrepreneurs experience that. I experienced that, throughout my journey. So what did you do to overcome that as far as blocking out the noise?
And that's what I had to do, was block out the noise. I mean, it was something when we were going through the season of lack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's sad, but even church people were telling me, saints were telling me, "Dee, well, maybe God didn't tell you that. Maybe you just need to go back to work," instead of saying, "Have faith and hold on, believe God. He said it.
Yes.
Then stand on His word." They were saying, "Well, but you have to block all of that out."
Uh-huh.
And I compared to Noah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I can't wait to get to heaven. Me and him gonna talk." I said, "You know what, bro? I know what it's like when God tells you to do something,
Uh-huh.
but He didn't tell anybody else.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it's all on you." Noah built that boat. He did not tell anyone else but him.
Mm-hmm.
But God's confidence was in him that he was going to do what He told him to do.
Absolutely.
And that's what we have to do.
Okay.
We have to stand on His word. If He said it's going to prosper, it's going to prosper.
Absolutely. So what sets you apart from everyone else in the city that's doing something similar, like making cookies? So of course you have Cheryl's Cookies. That's the only one that I know of.
Okay.
And it was amazing because when I saw your company, I'm like, oh, that's unique. The only other cookie company I've ever heard of locally was Cheryl's Cookies. So what sets you apart from them and your other competitors?
The cookies being made from scratch on site. As I said, we keep our cookies real.
Okay.
You're not getting anything frozen, thawed. No, you're getting a real cookie.
Okay.
Baked daily, made from scratch daily, and it's just like the old-fashioned way.
Okay. So when you think about expansion, right, everything is made fresh. It's not
Yes.
frozen. How will you still keep that same, I guess you can say, fresh authenticity of the cookie when you start to expand to other regions, other states?
Well, you know what? I dabbled and played with that with my with what I'm doing now, and training others to make my cookie dough, that was a big challenge for me because I always needed to have my hands in it. Is to,
Yeah, you got to
is
let
to
go
do
of the
that,
baby
and
a
then
little
training them, because baking is more of a science, and that's why I've run into the challenges of franchising, those type things. People say, "Well, why don't you know?" I've had people asking, would you be willing to franchise ABC? I said, when I come up with a method of being able to reproduce the cookie at the same quality, we can do that. So I'm dabbling and playing around with some different things now
Wow,
to
that's
do
a
that.
great idea.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it is. But like you said, it's a science.
Uh-huh.
So if you leave out one egg, put in too many, your whole batch is messed up.
Absolutely. That's true. Well, I wish you much success with that. I mean, I think that's an amazing
Thank
idea.
you. Thank you.
So give us a success story. Like that one story that stands out. You've done multiple interviews at this point. That one story is just like, man, whenever someone asks me about my success, this is one that comes top of mind.
The one story is standing with faith unwavering on what God said.
Okay.
It really, that is it. That is the story. Hearing what He says and then doing it, and then watching Him do what He says. I tell you, I walk into Nationwide, where we're located now. I didn't mention that, but we're inside the Nationwide atrium of the Nationwide Insurance Building. And sometimes I'll come up on the elevator, I'll walk up and I say, "You know what? I remember when this was just a word." And look what happened. And that's why I want to encourage other entrepreneurs. Pursue your vision, pursue the desires, and whatever you're excited about. Go for it.
Right.
Only thing you know what? And if it doesn't work out, guess what? You tried. You tried.
Absolutely.
But don't give up on the vision
Absolutely.
of where you're going, and take the limits off. I know one of the things that when I applied for space at one location, I had a gentleman ask me, he said, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
He said, why don't blacks come and apply for space here?
Mm-hmm.
I said, huh? He said, you're the first African American or black person to come in here and even inquire about space in 7 years.
Mm.
I said, you know what? Probably the same reason why it took me months to call you, because I said it was too big before I tried.
Mm-hmm.
You envision yourself not doing it and get that vision that I can do it. I can have that office building. I can have that production facility. Who says you can't?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's talk about failures and setbacks, right? So you said pre-pandemic, everything was amazing as far as business.
Yeah.
Post-pandemic, you went from 7,000 people in the building down to 1,000 people, and you had to pivot, right? Because of course, 7,000 people, all these sales, expenses are high. Business drops, you still have the same expenses.
Exactly.
So when you took your wrap truck
Yes.
out on the road, like, did you already map out a plan before you put the truck on the road, or how did that work?
You know what? It was impulse.
Okay.
Impulse. Okay, they can't come to me. I'm coming to them. And I just, what I did was included that on my website.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about Amazon, how everybody everybody likes the convenience of getting things easily. I said,
Right.
okay, hey, place your orders and we'll deliver.
Wow. So you were going door to door.
We were going door to door,
Okay.
company to company. Yes.
So business to business, business to consumer?
Yes.
Wow. So you did both.
We did both.
And you're still doing that now?
And we're still doing that now.
Okay. So you hired a driver that goes out and...
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. We have a driver that goes out. Like I said, we don't have as much now with things going on, but Christmas has been crazy, as I told you.
Right.
But we're enjoying it. We're enjoying it.
So how many employees do you have?
Currently, right now, I have 3.
You have 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. So you're doing a lot of business with
We
3
are.
people.
And like I said, the sales have dropped. Previously, pre-COVID,
Uh-huh.
I had 7 people working.
Uh-huh.
And then, like I said, COVID, of course, things went down. So, but we're working our way back up now.
Okay. So from a business perspective, what's
Okay.
some advice that you would give to the aspiring and the new and existing entrepreneurs? Because you've had a lot of success over the last 30 years from the way that you grew your business, the fact that you had to pivot, you knew how to pivot. Because a lot of times when people experience adversity, they don't know how to pivot. You went to Florida, you're thinking about expanding there. You have people approaching you with opportunities to turn your business into a franchise. What advice would you give to those entrepreneurs?
Pray. No, seriously.
Okay.
Check out everything that's going check out your market.
Okay.
See what's out there, where you're at, because there's so many details, locations, different things that you have to consider before you just step out there and do that and plan it out. And I think that's the hardest thing for new entrepreneurs. You get so hyped up on, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to do this and do that. But then you have those times when there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and you're going to have to prepare for that. But in the beginning, basically you're flatline until as you slowly increase. But with COVID, like I said, nobody was anticipating that. I remember talking to my staff saying, okay, you guys, I said, we'll probably be out and closed for maybe just, a month or so till COVID's over with. And then it turned out to be a year.
Yeah.
And thinking, okay,
Yeah.
how do we handle this? How do you come out on the other end? And sitting down and just mapping it out.
Absolutely. So how do you stay current with the trends, right? So you have other companies that are making different flavors cookies, different style cookies. So do you find yourself having to pivot and come up with different flavors in order to stay competitive?
You know what? We do not. We introduce new things every now and then.
Okay.
But like a new franchise that's in is what Crumbles. That's the new.
Oh yeah, I forgot
the
about
new one
Crumbles.
that they have different flavors and different things that they're doing. But you know what? I found that having my classic and it being the best cookie there is.
Okay.
It works.
All right. So in terms of flavor, the fact that it's fresh.
It's fresh. Quality, you don't come in and get any, like I said, nothing frozen, nothing pre-made, all butter, sugar, brown sugar, eggs, flour, and chocolate chips.
Okay. So with you being so busy, so I'm assuming you work yourself, right? As far as making the cookies, how many hours do you put in a day?
I put in, well, I right now, since I've been going back and forth to Florida, I'm working more on the business, and my staff they're working in the business.
Okay.
So right now they're doing about 40 hours a week.
Okay. So how do you, with all of the work that you're putting in the business, on the business, traveling back and forth to Florida, how do you balance your personal life, your family life, and also your ministry life?
Well, all of my children are adults now,
Okay.
so I don't have to do that. My grandsons, and I have a granddaughter here. My grandsons have two grandsons in Florida,
hmm
so I always make sure I have the time, balance to spend the time with them.
Okay.
And then I have a new great granddaughter that was just born a few weeks
Congratulations.
ago. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So spend time with them, but you know what? I set up my work day, and you know what? You have to do that because your business will take all 24 hours of your day if you let it
Absolutely.
mentally.
Yes.
I mean, you'll be in the office, look, be in the kitchen baking and still sitting on the couch.
Right.
But you know what I
Because your
mean?
mind's still
Your
going.
mind is still there.
Right.
But you have to take and balance between family and work
Okay.
and personal life. Make sure you have some fun in there too.
That's true. What do you do for fun?
You know what I like to do? I like to go out and talk to people, minister to people, and you know what? And I love to shoot pool.
Really?
I do.
So you're a pool shark?
I am.
Okay.
I do. I love to shoot pool.
Nice. So how can people contact you if they wanted to, buy
You
some
know what?
cookies or?
You can go online. We have our website. It's ablessedcookie.com.
Okay.
Go on. You can see everything we're selling there, or you can call the store. We have abbreviated hours now. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays.
Okay.
From 7:30 until 1 o'clock inside the Nationwide building. And you can call. The number is 614-221-4442.
Okay. And what about your social media handles?
Social media is A Blessed Cookie Company.
I love
on
it.
Facebook, Instagram. Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? Any other value?
You know, follow your vision as an entrepreneur. Just say follow and don't be so easy to give up as soon as adversity comes. Keep moving.
Absolutely.
Keep moving.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've given all of us a lot to think about. Me as an entrepreneur, other
Yeah.
aspiring new and existing entrepreneurs, just with so much experience and so much knowledge that you have. Because there are a lot of people that will waver. And a lot of times people waver because, and something else I want to ask you too, especially in our community, when you don't have a mentor, right? You don't have anyone in your business that knows about entrepreneurship, that knows how to start a business or run a business. They don't have anyone to lean on. So when they experience those challenges, it's like, okay, how do I pivot? How do I take the next step? So what advice would you give on that?
Find a mentor, like you said. If you can, find a mentor and have them. And plus, go to different SCORE, the SBA. They have a lot of programs and different things. You can go out and make yourself available. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Make yourself available. Interact with other business people, and you'll be surprised at what happens. One of the greatest things I did, I joined the Columbus Rotary Club when I was here.
The Columbus Rotary
Columbus
Club.
Rotary Club.
Okay. What type of club is that?
It is a club of businessmen, entrepreneurs in the Columbus area.
Okay.
And what we did was we went out and worked in the community and information and just sharing
Okay.
and giving.
Wow, that's perfect.
And I mean, it was awesome. And you meet different people. But like you said, find someone. Go to one of the bakery
Okay.
and come in. I have no problem with that. I love the things of helping someone because I'm not in competition with you. There's enough money out there for all of us.
Absolutely.
It's like go and pursue it. But I like to use where Peter, what did Jesus told Peter? He said, you know what, Peter, Satan desires to have you and sift you as wheat. But I prayed for you that your faith fails not. But then once you're converted, once you get over this thing,
Right.
then you go strengthen your brethren.
Okay.
And
I like
that's
that.
what I like to do.
So with that being said, do you have any mentees?
You know what? I don't have any at the moment.
Okay.
What I like to do is get young people, especially I did a lot of time volunteering at Scioto Juvenile Correctional Facility.
Okay.
and also do prison ministry.
Okay.
And what I do, I have brought people in that have been released from prison and brought them in to come and work.
Okay.
And it's an amazing experience because they come in and it's like, this is a whole different perspective on what I'm used to.
Right.
But 3 of the people that have worked for me previously have gone and started their own businesses.
Okay. Are you open to mentorship at all?
I am.
Okay, perfect. And the reason I asked, I was talking to you
Yeah.
about the young lady that was on the podcast
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. And it's amazing because she said, hey, I don't want to give up on my business. Do you actually, like, what do you call it, rent out your space to other bakers or other entrepreneurs?
Lease-wise, legal, we can't do that.
Okay.
Yes, most of your tenants, they won't let you do that. Landlords won't let you do that.
Okay.
So I can't do that.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just curious.
But I would encourage anyone, especially in the baking industry, start off at home. Avoid all of the overhead. Start off at home, get it out there, use social media to get your products out there, get people to buying it. You work it out. If you want them to come to your house or say, I'll do deliveries. I mean, look at DoorDash. You could have DoorDash come and deliver. Get on there, do that.
That's true.
And just get your market built up until you have enough revenue to sustain having a brick and mortar.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, that was, any closing words? Close us out.
I think I've talked my mouth. I've talked.
Anything you want to say to close us out?
No, you know what? I'm an encourager, and I just want to say, if you have a vision, pursue it, and don't be easy to give up.
Okay.
Don't be easy. Hold on to delivery.
Absolutely. So that was a perfect close by Dee with the blessed cookie. We'll make sure we include all of her information down in the description notes. If you want some good, fresh baked home cookies, she's located in Columbus, Ohio, in the Nationwide building. Again, we'll include all of her information down in the description. But hey, thank you for tuning in to the Let's Evolve for Tomorrow podcast, where we help aspiring, new, and existing entrepreneurs excel to the next level by inviting other aspiring, new, and existing entrepreneurs to the podcast. And we'll see you next time.